My ex-wife has been spewing crap to our kids and making them eat turpentine, the stuff found in glue, and is asking them to keep their mouth glued shut about it. I found this out, like I do most things about life with their mother, through the kids, 7M and 5F, as communication has been pretty much non-existent between the ex and I since our split 6 years ago. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, no, I don't ever press my kids for information. I've worked very hard to establish an uninhibited, open, no topic is off-limits type of relationship with my kids. Even though I've only got them every other weekend, I want them to feel comfortable enough to fully express themselves and speak their mind freely around me. This has led to several discoveries about certain aspects of their life that their mother has asked them not to reveal to me, something I am very much against. I don't believe any child should have to hold secrets between their parents. It isn't their responsibility and is something I would never ask of them. That being said, they've come out with nuggets of wisdom such as we shouldn't be drinking tap water because the government puts chemicals in there that makes us docile and obedient. Santa isn't real but Jesus is and the Bible is 100% fact. Controversial topic, I understand, and most recently that the government says turpentine is poisonous but it is actually good for you. What the hell do I do here? If I speak to my ex about this, or even let slip that I know it's going on, she isn't going to have an honest conversation about it with me and I fear that she'll just press the kids even harder to keep things from me. I don't want their heads filled with this rubbish but I feel so powerless to stop this. All I can do is try to teach them to think critically but that is only going to be so effective when they're getting told all this nonsense is fact. Help. Update 1. So I just found out through my kids that my ex-wife has been feeding them turpentine mixed with sugar or honey as a way to worm them, and also been using it topically to treat mosquito bites. Reading up on what it does if you ingest it, because who the hell would ever think it's a good idea to drink paint thinner as medicine? It can be devastating and it really doesn't take a whole lot to mess you up, especially if you're a child. Think. 1 tablespoon could potentially be enough to change your life kinda messed up. I don't think talking to the ex is going to yield any results and realistically I don't even expect her to be honest about it anyway. My only evidence so far is the second-hand account of the testimony of a 7-year-old boy. He told my mom/his grandma and she went and told me. Do I have any legal options here? Should I be collecting evidence and if so what kind? I honestly don't know what to do. I can't have my kids being fed literal poison and to top it off they were saying yeah the government tells us it's poison but it's actually good for you. This isn't the first time they've come out with little nuggets of conspiracy-soaked wisdom like this, tap water makes you docile and obedient sort of stuff, but this one is truly terrifying. They were meant to go back to their mother today but I've got them in my care until next weekend due to an undisclosed emergency that my ex sprung on me about an hour ago. Never mind that I'm starting a new job tomorrow and wasn't prepared in any way to look after them for a week with no notice, but please if anyone here can give me a few tips or pointers I would be so grateful. I'm stressing pretty bad about this, I don't know what to do. Update 2. So for the last 4 or so weeks my kids, 7 meters and 5F, have been ingesting a spoonful of turpentine every day, and been using it topically to treat mosquito bites. 100% gum turpentine, my boy said the bottle read. Paint thinner. I've questioned them about it and I have zero doubt this was happening. Now I've wanted to book in for a tox screen and blood work but would have to travel 2 hours to get it done, the only other option being police and CPS, both unfavorable options, or seeing a GP. What am I in for here? What damage would chronic ingestion of turpentine cause a 7-year or 5-year child? What are the things I should look out for? Would terps even show up in a screen in such small volume? And if Therese anyone here from Victoria, Australia, would a GP be able to help initiate a tox screen? Update 3. The kids have been medically assessed. They've had blood work done, testing for liver and kidney function, as well as any other abnormalities, and have undergone some minor testing. Thankfully, everything has come back clear and they seem to be happy and in good health, apart from my daughter being a little upset about being jabbed with needles. There were, however, some very concerning statements made by my kids to the doctors who screened them, both with and without any family present. Everything said has been transcribed and documented in their discharge papers. CPS has since been informed of the situation. The situation has been reported to the police and a medical release statement has been filed with them. They told me they would remain in contact with CPS and wait for their lead. The kids are legally staying within the care of myself and my family until further notice from Child Services. At this point in time, I've had no contact with my ex since this all came about. I have a tip on a great family law legal representative whom I will contact in the very near future to discuss my steps moving forward, and about making a claim for primary custodial care. My family fully supports this decision and we are all still incredibly shocked about this whole scenario. I couldn't be more grateful for how supportive my family and friends have been over the last couple of days. I appreciate every one of you. Update 4. Just an update on things since everything went down and maybe provide a little clarity on a few key details. Not that it's necessary to me that you believe my story, Reddit being what it is and all. But bear with me as I haven't really spoken about the topic with anyone outside of my partner in a very, very long time. There will be a few additional details that won't be mentioned for discretionary reasons and active actions currently in place. Not very brief. Sorry. I'll start by stating that the kids have been in my full care since that first post and are very happy and healthy. The mother has placed the entirety of blame on the grandmother and remains steadfast in that stance to this very day. The month prior to my post they spent camping as a family, the kids and their mom's immediate family. They spent that entire time in her care and there is no way she wasn't privy to what was happening, every goddamn day. The kids had a fucking song to sing about it. All substantiated in statements taken from them. So as a few have speculated, yes, this happened in regional Victoria, a couple hours from Melbourne. The hospital here could have taken the kids in for screening through ER, but they didn't have the facilities to actually test the blood work on site. The turnaround for a result I was told would have been a few days, possibly longer, as it had to get sent off. Alternatively, I could just wait until the following day to make the trip to the nearest facility that was capable of producing same-day results. We took that option. The kids were triaged the following day through ER. Tested for organ functionality, blood work came back clean. They were privately spoken to and assessed by on-site well-being officers, or whatever their title, and CPS was contacted through the hospital and a case opened. Note, yes, we do call them child protection here even though they operate under the DFFH banner. But so does community housing and disability support, in tangent with NDS, so do with that information as you will. It's a broad department. We left with the medical reports, which included statements given by the children, and holy fuck where they were being fed some wild facts about the world. That night I made an informal statement at the local police station stating what the situation was and the actions taken, just so they had it on record. For those tracking the chronology of all this, we are roughly 30 hours into the timeline from me first finding out. CPS conducted several interviews over the next month with all parties involved, as well as a house call to my residence. Not sure how extensively they interviewed the mom. They concluded the children unfit to be in the mother's care but were comfortable in closing their case should they remain with me full time. Surprisingly, there was no legal order put in place. Apparently they are happy to move on from a situation once comfortable with the results. Found a good law firm and started the legal process, which has been very slow due to unsurprising, lack of cooperation. Essentially though, we have restricted the mother's access to supervised visitation and removed her parental right as a legal actor regarding medical decisions. She has only seen them a handful of times in the 2 years following, despite constant efforts to facilitate visitation. The kids have had therapy and I've spent many hours talking to them over the last 2 years, helping them navigate their way through this. They'll have a lot of questions they'll expect answers for when they're older, I'm sure. Currently, we have managed to secure scheduled visitation with the mother through a professional contact center which facilitates supervised visits. It has been a fucking wild ride, but we are incredibly lucky and happy to have the strong family unit we currently do, including my partner and her daughter who have been next to us through most of this process. Please teach your kids it's safe to be honest and open with you.